13th in the championship. The takeover happened, as I said it would. People will be. Oh, when have we got Leeds? Now then, people, and welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show on another edition of the White Rose Rivals. I hope you are all doing well. We were just all having a little bit of a chinwag, all enjoying the show as per, and I hope you are too. So make sure you smash a like on the video. Make sure you go check out these brilliant content creators, which has just reminded me I've not got them in the description. So don't go.
Joe, this show does more for my mental health than Andy's Man Club, Samaritans, everything, because as desperate as Huddersfield are, mate, there's always people worse off than yourself. We're
not even 30 seconds in. We're not even 30 seconds in.
Sorry, guys.
It's a lot quieter when it's not on. It's a lot better when it's not on.
It's looking bleak, isn't it, for us? Well, for 3 years anyway. It's not so bad for me and Tom, to be fair. But there you go. It is looking pretty bleak at the bottom end of the table. But
if we had all those points up, where are we?
18 for summer.
17, what's that? 20, 32. We would be 32. We'd be in top. We'd be third. We'd be above Leeds.
Oh, there you go. That's what you should do. Why don't you just dissolve your clubs then and come together? Is that what you're saying? I don't think that's more funny.
Ideas, mate. Bloody hell.
That's true. You charge for the privilege as well, won't we? I think I'm changing the squad, and that's it. You have to pay. It's mad. Have you enjoyed the international break, lads? Have some of you enjoyed the time off, or is it a case of you're glad normal football's back, or are you apprehensive football's back because you might get beat again? I don't know.
I like watching Scarborough quite a lot. I like watching non-league. I go watch Scarborough quite a bit, and there's such a buzz. You know, it's really weird. You know, when your team's doing desperate and stuff, when you kind of go somewhere else, even though it's like not really your team, when there's a bit of energy, when there's a bit of fight, when there's a goal, when and as little things like John O'Green is like a manager there, ex-West Brom and Middlesbrough, but he puts like 2 subs on trying to win a game at 1-1. And I know it's totally different standard, but it's just refreshing to see like where people are trying to win the game rather than what I saw at all like the week before. It's just like, let's try and get out there with a point. End of the day, mate, we work hard, we go to those games, we want to be entertained. We just don't want to see shit like that. I get you can't go toe-to-toe with some teams, but I can't stand for just like staying behind the ball, and it probably happen for us again on Saturday. So to me, mate, when you get out and see something else, it doesn't matter what standard it is. I take a lot of positives thinking this is football. This is what I fell in love with. Not just not hoping to lose. Rubbish, man.
And that's why it's Cosset, and I know this is Premier League, but that's why I sort of enjoyed what Postecoglou did against Chelsea when they went down to 9 men. It's what Bielsa used to do. It's like, if we're going to go out, we might as well go out fighting. But then you get everyone going, yeah, but you could have got a point. And it's like, I don't go ahead of a game thinking, I hope we get a point today. I want to fucking win. Do you know what I mean? So here's what it is.
I'll take a point.
Yeah, actually, yeah. As that came out of my mouth, I was like, yeah, maybe that doesn't wash, actually. Listen, we will talk Rotherham because they don't have a manager at the minute, and I thought you might have got one during the break, and I'm actually glad. Yeah, I'm glad that you haven't. Do you know what I mean? I'm not expecting a new manager bounce, but we will park the Rotherham Leeds chat for a little bit. Before we delve into this week's games, let's just jump back a little bit and talk about Hull versus Huddersfield. Obviously, another Yorkshire derby which Huddersfield lost and Hull came out on top. Tom, I'll come to you first because Costy's just going to tell us about the nightlife in Hull. So we'll come to you. You can tell us about the game, and then Costy can tell us about the decent pubs to go to in Hull.
I think we obviously got the goal at the end with the lap. It was one of them where like you've got to grind out the result. Huddersfield just came and knew the plan from minute one was just to literally defend 10, 11 men behind the ball and just literally try and, grind out a point. And I think they're set up in like a 5-4-1 formation. So it's one of them where it's so hard to break through. And you can always say, look, I think sometimes we can criticise Rossini for for not going for it in the attacking sense. But I felt like in that game we actually, when we was 0-0, we was throwing men forward, strike at the goal, and in the end we got that deserved goal through the lap, and that's the difference. Like I've said before, like from last season to this, now we've got that striker in the final third, him and Philogene, that can come with a moment of brilliance. And if you're wanting to get playoffs, you need to win games like that. And fortunately, we did. We just scraped by, but it was on the balance of play. Obviously, it was deserved, but I think some fans expect us to roll over a team like Huddersfield, but I think when they're coming to sit back behind the ball and they're happy with a point, I think sometimes you just got to take that 1-0 win and just go on to the next game.
Exactly. It's all about the 3 points in it, Cossie, which is been hard to come by.
It's like you're walking through that car park, and I'm kind of doing a little bit of thing with Radio Leeds, and I says this. You get that 0-0, and you think it's a good job because we were depleted, but they didn't. It's all right. Ifs and buts, we didn't get it, and it's as simple as that. And again, I think Who Dares wins because their goal. It was like a lucky ricochet off the guy. At the first, I thought it's a beautiful kind of layoff and that as well, but it kind of seemed to hit his ankle and just like come out to delap and finished it well. But all were pushing to win the game, so you can't moan about that because it's just like one team's trying to win it and one team's trying to lose it. But the one thing I kind of gauge from the old days, how the buzz around the city of Hull again, it's just unbelievable. Like going into the city before, everyone's shirts, scarves, everyone heading towards the game. You could just feel it, like going into the stadium and stuff. It's kind of got its mojo back, and it made me a bit jealous. Really, it's kind of what Huddersfield kind of had a few years ago when we had a decent season or two. But you could see that's a massive win for them because like if you do that, we do that to them, it's like it just feels beautiful and that as well. But just two teams heading in different directions, but they were slinging guys on trying to win it, and honestly, it was just a bit embarrassing. Really, we got into their box 4 times. Joe, they got in our box 47. In 98 minutes of football, 4 times we went in their penalty. That's a shambles, mate, isn't it? But we move on an easy game against Southampton Saturday, mate.
Do you know what? Let's just stay with Huddersfield for a sec, because obviously I've seen a lot of the fan reaction after we beat you. And I think it was more so the manner of the defeat. I thought we'd win the game, but I guess it's sometimes how you get beat in it. And listening to a lot of fan media, and I know that's not everybody, and sometimes people are reactionary, myself included, and but the general mood is Darren Moore's not the guy. Does he see out the season, Cossie, or is there going to be calls at some point to, if you were on end of a thumping against Southampton 4-5 again, it's like, where are we going here?
It's unbelievable. It's just like 2 minutes as you introduced him as our new manager.
Breaking news.
And I remember we were kind of. I think, God, I hope you've cut that episode off because I think I said it were a bit of a coup for us. But obviously, 1 win in 10 speaks for itself. But the problem is, Joe, I think like that game at Leeds, even though we weren't like attacking, we were too open, mate. We were naive and you busted. So what he did is the next 2 games has gone into his shell. So that game we played the week after against Watford, we just like sat in there and like ground out a point. But again, we had depleted numbers. So it happens again at Hull, and I think if we get that 0-0, everyone's like, "What?" We can kind of accept it. But obviously it didn't, and then people were like, "Oh, you just go up there to sit shop." But I think honestly, the next 2 games are rock hard, mate. We've got Southampton at home, Sunderland away on Wednesday night, and it's just like I think he needs some out of these 2 games, at least a performance, mate. I think no one's going to back us on Saturday, but just to throw something at them. I think the thing is, we know we're limited, we know we've got a low budget, we know we need January badly, but he's not done out different, Joe. And it's like, just do something different. And I suppose it's easy to say when the kind of the game plan fell apart at the end, but part of you thinks Who Dares wins, Rodney, innit? I'm always thinking of Del Boy and 75 minutes. But then, how stupid might you look? You've done well at over 75. To be fair, they didn't really open us up. And then you try and win the game. But it's all tempered by the ending, innit? And they won and we didn't. And we move on. But again, I get out of the ground thinking, oh my God, and then everyone's lost again, apart from QPR get appointed. It can't carry on like that, Joe. We've got to do something soon, man.
Yeah. You have that 4-point gap at the minute, don't you? A little bit of safety, but like you say, 1 win from someone down there and it can quickly change.
I think when you sat back like that, I think you're consigned to defeat. I think like if you're just sitting back and not attempting to throw men forward, I think you're playing a 5 at the back, but your wing backs are stayed back. Like the whole point of playing a 5 at the back is to get the wing back side of the pitch. Like you need to push them up and down, and from that point of view, it looks like an embarrassing performance. I think Huddersfield at the minute just looking at there's 3 teams worse than in the division because it could be so much worse off. But
Yeah, definitely. I love that. Just got home carbonara and White Rose rivals. Fantastic. There you go.
I thought he played at Wednesday, didn't he? Carbonara. What are you now? Yeah.
Mate, he walked up at our place under Cellino for a little bit, did Benito Carboni. I don't know what his role was, but yeah, they were mad times then. And we had Gianluca Festa came over for a little bit. And we hadn't even signed Brian McDermott, and then he sacked him, and then he had to give him job back on the Monday because LMA got involved. It was proper dodgy back then, man. Madness. Let's look forward to next week, and I'm going to come to you, Ash, first because you've got Birmingham away.
Yeah.
Who, to be fair, they're not in great form. That's acquisition of Wayne Rooney just seems absolutely wilder and wilder by the day. I think they've got 1 point since he's come in, I think. And that might come against Ipswich. Outside of that, he's lost them all. It's a game it's on, I think it's on TV as well, isn't it? Is it on TV? No, it's a 3 o'clocker. No, it's not on TV, sorry. It's a game, though, you've got to try and get something from with the form that they're in, Ash.
100%. I'll go back with obviously, you alluded to the acquisition of Wayne Rooney. It's just I mean, they've got this American takeover with supposedly Tom Brady in there and all that. Did somebody, but I mean, it's just proper heads gone. They were 6th when they sacked him. Yeah, man. And where are they now? 19th? Oh no, 19th, something like that.
Probably
18th. I guess 18th.
Which is wild when you consider that drop off seed insane.
Yeah, so we've got to be looking at this. Obviously, we all know the situation we're in at the minute. It's dire. It's not terminal at the minute. There is still plenty of games left, but got to be looking at this game. We've had nearly 2 weeks off now, international break. The manager he's got to have been working these players hard. And getting to know what his players are, what his best team could be. We've only got a couple of injury doubts over Smith and Wilkes going into. So obviously Wilkes hasn't really played much, but Smith could be a bit of a loss. It's got to be.
Tom heard you saying Malik Wilkes, and he sacked it off, and he just disappeared.
Joe, what happened against Millwall, mate? Because that was such a weird result for me. Because you beat Rotherham, right? They weren't right good. You were saying you're looking at Bristol. I get it must be my fault for predicting, but I couldn't believe when I saw the score. Did they just mug you because they're physical? Were it a smash and grab, or did they? What went wrong there, mate? I was stuck with that.
To be really honest, I didn't go to the game. I was in Germany for the weekend, so I was well happy anyway. But obviously,
did you have your Leidenhauser on? Did you go to Oktoberfest or something?
No, mate. We went over to watch Hertha Berlin play, so I had a few nights in there, so that was good. I don't know, mate, Cosy, mate. It just we were again one of the. You look at the team; they lost. I think it was 4 out of 5. Got a new manager in, Joe Edwards. Never managed, first managerial game. Come from England under 20s, and
was that his first game as well? 4-0.
It was first game, yeah. Great start, yeah. Charity FC. Yeah. So we thought we will, because obviously I think mentioned we haven't got a clue how they're going to set up, how they're going to play, and the highlights I've watched is we played well for the first 15 minutes, and then it was just.
It's funny what you're saying. It's funny what you're saying there, Joe. It's like. Darren says the same. Have you noticed when you shit, international break, 2 weeks on training ground, people clutch it out, don't they? You know, when you're rubbish, it's everyone's been training, we've got guys back. It's I suppose what else he's supposed to say, but it just makes me laugh because it's like you're putting pressure on yourself, aren't you? There really, and that's we've got more time in the training ground and stuff. But I suppose what I'm supposed to say, we're just going to lose again. It's like
the difference. You can see the difference in the. All right, he hasn't got a win yet. And it's been, 4-5 games. And he hasn't got a win. But I know we got a spanking against Millwall. But you can see it's a massive difference from Cisco. Massive, which is...
I thought you beat Rotherham.
No, he's on about Birmingham, I think.
Sorry.
I thought he was on about that as well.
Sorry. Oh, yeah, sorry, yeah.
Trouble is, Joe, you've got Leicester on Wednesday, although they've wobbled a bit, but it's almost like that game at Birmingham was absolutely massive, mate. You've got to go there and win, haven't you?
What's that? Oh, Leicester.
Yeah, I mean, like that's a nightmare.
Yeah, we've got them at home. I'm not obviously how they're cracking on. I'm not holding much hope there. So
the shite, mate, man. We beat them.
We beat them as well. Come on.
Yeah, the shite, man.
Right, that's it then. That's it. I'm positive you guys have just done it, so that's it. But obviously you got them next. So Birmingham on Saturday. Yeah, it's got to be with Wayne Rooney in awful position as well that they are. Yeah. It's got to be, and like I said, we've only got a couple of injuries, so it's virtually full strength. So see what he's been working with. But I totally understand what you were saying about the international break, because it is. I'm clutching at everything. I'm hoping he's worked them 2 sessions a day every day for the last God knows how long. It's got to, and it's getting there. What are we? We're 9 points from Huddersfield.
I think the thing's worrying me. It's like people say January, there's 10 games between now and January, 10 matches. That your season could be knackered there. It's all right saying get this window open, but you've got to win some of these games, mate.
Yeah. We can't even, with that, we can't even say January will be bringing players in, because obviously with the chairman and the situation we're in, it can't be guaranteed that we'll be able to, 1, afford, or 2, who's going to come into the bottom of the table championship team as well. Unless the manager's got unbelievable contacts and can talk the team up, talk how he wants to play, and how I think
the best probably the best chances maybe like some Premier League loans. I remember a couple of years ago we was near the bottom of the Championship. We took Harry Wilson on loan from Liverpool before I went to Derby that season. He was immense. I think he scored like 7 goals in 13 for us, and that sort of kept us up. And at that point, we wasn't obviously in a dire situation as Wednesday, but was teetering close to relegation zone. So I think it's that sort of like individual player that you can get in January that can maybe change your season. But I think that's obviously what Wednesday need in the final third. Like from what I've seen, it's like, it's just there's such a lack of goals, and you know that it's so obvious to say, look, go out and sign them, but it's just it's so hard to get a goal scorer for cheap unless you rely on the loan market. So
yeah, and that's what we need. We've scored 7 goals all season. Yeah, it's not enough, in 16 games. It's laughable, really, isn't it? To be honest,
it's not great, is it, mate? Definitely, not great at all. And like you say, you need to start picking up wins soon. Because, like Cossie said, you've then got Leicester, and on the face of it, you say, well, might as well write that off, kind of vibe. But go on, mate. What were you saying?
I looked the other day, and out of the bottom, I think it's bottom 7 teams. There's only QPR and Coventry that we haven't played. So we've played all the teams around us. We say we've got to pick points up from the teams around us. Well, the first round of games, we've played them, most of them, and we've struggled. So it's not even like you could say we're going to have a run of 3 or 4 of teams around
winnable.
Us. What you think were winnable. So it's we've got to stop. We're just not attacking enough. Just not. We're getting 2 and 3 shots on target a game in some games. And as possession has improved up to like 52 average percent with Danny Rule, where it was down at something like 30% with Cisco. So the possession base is getting there. It's just turning that into some shots on goal, some chances.
Yeah. How bad is it, Matt, that you lost to Sheff Wednesday now on reflection?
You were bad at the time, never mind now. 7 goals this season, 2 against us. You mentioned Charity FC, Ash. Took us. United.
8 out of the last 9. A quiz question here. Wednesday have not scored 8 out of the last 9 games. Who was the game when they got some goals? Sorry, mate.
and not just 1, we got 2.
Honestly, if you stay up with stats like that, even now before Christmas, I know Warnock did a miracle last year, but honestly, mate, it is. But because everyone's so shit above you, still have a chance. But it's grim, man, isn't it? You might not need any 40 points. Might keep you up this year.
I think it'll be quite low. I thought they could stay up this year. Early 40s, I think, will keep teams up this year. I think.
Yeah. Does anyone? I know it's still early. Does anyone think Sheff Wednesday can do a miracle job? Obviously, they're quite a way off Huddersfield already.
I don't think so.
The silence is deafening. Come on, lads. The silence is deafening.
I was going to say sadly, I think they're down, but I'm not sad about it. all.
Well, it's like because I hear like Barnsley, their White Rose Rivals podcast is a lot better.
You need a translator to go on with Barnsley, lads. I tell you.
You need someone who can read, mate, about the players who never mind a translator. That's played already. That's got to enter our game. No. Yeah.
I guess.
I think the worst thing on Wednesday, any Wednesday I knew, just coming into August, is saying with depression straight away. So it's not as if it's results have kind of kicked it out of them. Everything, like you said there, like the more exit and the chance here to carry on. It's just, honestly, there's been some bad seasons for us, but this is the season from hell for you. And you've got to do something before Christmas, haven't you? Otherwise, God, it's going to be like when we were in the Premier League, we were down in January and it's horrible. Then 5 months just waste of time. But you guys seems to be positive. Maybe, like you said, performances have been better than the results you've got. So at least fans are getting behind him.
The manager's still got 99% of the fans still. And I think a lot of them are resigned that it's going to be a hard season. And if we just show a bit of promise, and obviously it all depends what happens end of the season and into next year. If we keep him, if we go down, if we keep the manager, if we don't. But yeah, I'm just worried for January. I really am. Like Tom was saying about, I'm not even confident that the manager, the owner, will give the manager what he needs as well. We've got to get rid of. So there's got to be some outs. There's got to be some outgoings from Middlesbrough before we probably bring any more in. And that's some of the loans we've took out have been shocking. Ashley Fletcher,
terrible.
Sorry, mate. I know you listen, but
let's give us a score prediction then, Ash, for this one.
So I said earlier, I'm always positive with Wednesday, and I always say 1-0. But this isn't positivity. This is a need. So I'm going 2-1 Wednesday.
Get up there.
I know Cosy says we've kept an attacking clean sheet in 8 of the last 9 games, but it's got to be. We've got to flip it over and start winning somehow. And with Wayne Rooney obviously having a torrid time, we've got to take that chance. We've got to capitalise on teams around us going through a bit of a bad patch. So yeah, positive.
2-1.
Yeah, 2-1.
I'm going to go 1-1 draw. I do think there's a chance you get a point. I don't think Wayne Rooney's going to turn it around, and they're going to have to sack him before long. But I'm going to go 1-1. Matt, score prediction?
Same, 1-1. It'll be a terrible game of football. I suspect 2 teams that are very good. 2 own goals, 1-1.
2 goals. I love that. Tom?
I know people are saying about Wayne Rooney, I think it was a stupid appointment, but I do think that he's had 2 extra weeks on the training ground. He's got quite a bit of quality now, like Sariki, Dembele. I think they can turn a game on its head. I think Birmingham to win 2-1.
Nice. Cossie?
Yeah, massive game this, I think, for both clubs. But I think Birmingham going to sneak it, but that's probably good for Wednesday because I predict them to win and they don't. So, 1-0 Birmingham, mate. And they might open a new stand there after some more sets of seats so people can watch them. And what a place that is. I went there when we played them. It's unbelievable, that St Andrews, isn't it? What's going on there?
It's my first visit.
It's mad.
Looking forward to it.
I went, well, it would have been a couple of seasons ago now, and the surrounding areas are quite rough, man. I got dropped off and had to run through this estate. And
that McDonald's there, I won't go for a burger in there, mate. I'd rather starve. Jesus.
Is it a Sainsbury's or a Morrison's or something that's just round the corner?
Yeah,
I was there and I was like...
It's like outside of West... Wait, have you been to West Brom, mate? It's outside of there as well. They got a McDonald's. Full of charmers.
Yeah. All the charmers.
And nuggets and...
On at launch ketchup at windows and that.
Class. Right. Let's move on to Huddersfield then, Cossie. Huddersfield versus Southampton. I think Southampton have been forgotten about a little bit. They are from our fan base. I keep forgetting about them, just chasing the top 2, but they're actually only a point behind Leeds, and they're doing as equally as well of late. So I mean, you've got to be worried about this fixture, are you, or what? What's the...
Yeah, I think we'll have a right good go at it. But no, to be fair, I watched Russell Martin's press conference today. To be honest, exciting guy. But you know what, mate? He's full of... all he's talking about is automatic, mate. It's unbelievable.
Really?
And I suppose you should think well with the budget and what he's got, but he's very, very good at... He just seems like, to me, that playoffs ain't good enough, and we're talking about getting close to Leeds and stuff like that as well. So he's set the bar massively high. So there's loads of players coming up for them, which is good news for us, of course. But yeah, I think they've got a few internationals out as well. But I like the way they play. They play good football. I know we talked about it earlier on, didn't we, when they played Wednesday, that earlier game. I think they were a bit fortunate, really, there to kind of sneak it in. But they're a bit motoring now, aren't they, in that as well? And yeah, I think you just don't, from my part, I'm like you're about clutching at straws with training ground, 2 weeks on the training ground. International virus, the FIFA virus, hopefully, and some of their guys, it's not kind of, in there. But, mate, it's an horrible game for us, that, innit? And yeah, I think the approach is going to be fascinating, really, because we've basically part of us in 2 consecutive games, and I just think Mo's got to do something different. But then we're a bit more open, and we another Leeds job where we're 3 down at half time, which could quite easily happen against them. But people want to go there in a cold. I think we're right cold on Saturday, innit? Temperatures are dropping. People want to sit there 3 degrees watching someone sit back and inevitably get beat 0-2. So I think that's a frustration with Mo. I get the job's hard, obviously, and the squads. Every time you do a podcast with any of a rival pod, it's like, at the start of the season, I thought yours were the weakest squad, and you lost Neil Warnock. So then no one's surprised. But yeah, I just want to see something a little bit different, mate. Like maybe a bit playing out of position, or just a different kind of formation. But like I say, we've gone from Leeds to kind of be, we didn't really get on the front foot, but very open to let's not concede and let's keep it tight. But I know so many guys who are not asked to go on Saturday. That's always a bad gauge, that, mate. Especially Southampton at home, when you've got a season card.
Yeah.
You want to watch. That's a game you look forward to as well. But you hear words like Christmas shopping and beer, and it's one of those, I think, where it's about 2:30 and you're thinking that Man City Liverpool game beyond, and it's probably plus 24 with VAR and what have you. You're thinking, do you stay in here and kind of just amble in at 3:20? Yeah, it's tough times, mate, but unlike what Joe said, maybe at least it seems like we've got a bit of plan in the window. But like I said, them 10 games before, could see for that a moment. I can't believe I'm saying this. It's just like madness, because he's not had his own players in it. But I think another thing that's a frustrating thing, as much as he's a nice guy, every time you hear an opposition manager, he's a great guy, but he's very dour and very dull. And unfortunately, we've gone from like Neil Warnock, kind of, he's not everyone's cup of tea, but what is like characters, mate? And I'm afraid when we've lost, and Darren Moore's just coming out with a usual spiel. He'd even come on to fans after the old game, which were I thought we're poor with that, to be honest, mate. If you're the leader, you do that. Even if you get loads of shit, we had following a match here, losing game after game and getting it. But you'd lead with your team. You just go straight down tunnel, don't like that. But then Simeone does it and no one gives a shit, do they? But I don't know. It just don't feel a good match at the moment. But you know what football's like. Amazingly, they could get to horror win or something, and then maybe get something Sunderland. But I don't know. It all feels like it's said
when we played Southampton, we lost 2-1, and it was so frustrating because we saw how poor they were defensively, and unlike what we did against Huddersfield, where we chucked men forward, we actually tried to conserve for a point, and in the end, that was our undoing, knowing that once we sit back, Southampton's going to pick us off with the quality they've got, like the Solomana, and I think Fraser scored a 95th minute to beat us, and I think it's one of them games where you've got to be up for it. You've got to go at them for minute 1. Otherwise, if you just sit back, you're just going to get picked off. Probably lose 1 or 2 or 3.
Maybe that game against you guys might change the approach.
I think the defence is one of the worst in the division. 26 goals are conceded in the 4th. So I think there's promise there.
It's only 1 less than us. We've conceded 27.
Exactly. That's how crazy it is. Really, it's like.
Well, you know what? I don't mind these kind of games. A bit like Ipswich, really. I like going in the stadium when you're not expected to do anything, although that Leeds game kind of pisses on my argument. But like on Saturday, no one expects us to win. Everyone's going to have them on the coupon as a number 2. They're going to come expecting to win. Russell Martin, all that carry on ahead. You're going to be expected to see that at 10-5. But this is what I love about football. You're just thinking, you get that belief, the dream, don't you? No, Joe's been thinking about page, but just maybe something amazing could happen. That's why we go in it. But really, truthfully, there's only one winner in this game, isn't there? Surely.
Yeah, I do. I tend to have to agree with Tom, like, because we didn't really start well against Southampton at all, and we were bloody 3-0 down at half time. Do you know what I mean? So that's the one game where we
you can see me back. Another 20 minutes in that game, Joe. I think you'd have even won that, mate. They were on their ass, mate.
I know.
Yeah,
there was a chance. I think. Yeah,
if you go at them, they can crumble quite. That's much Martin for you to be fair.
Leicester showed that as well. Leicester showed that when they went at them, they just were all over the shop. So, yeah, if you do that, but like you say, you might just sit back and then you're just sitting back waiting for them to score, aren't you? Do you know what I mean?
It's incredible. They're plus 1 goal difference to Southampton, and they're fourth. They're like Chelsea plus 11, plus 15, Ipswich plus 19, Leicester. It's just like, but at the end of the day, if you get one more goal at opposition, who cares?
It's like when Huddersfield went up with minus goal difference, wasn't it?
Yeah, unbelievable.
Man. Before we go around and get everyone else's thoughts, John, who's been a member for 3 months, says, I hope all the Yorkshire sides stay up and we go up. There you go. That's, he's lying.
Get a fiver on that. Get a fiver on that.
Tell you, man, if you get a fiver, we won't have to work again if you put a fiver on that, man. That odds on that'll be insane, won't they? Yeah, lads, does anyone give Huddersfield a chance at home against the Saints with the form that they're in? Could this bring a surprise?
We might. It's one of them. It's one of them dodgy games, isn't it? It's one of them dodgy games. It's like
we only just lost in 86 minutes and the first game of the season, and passed us off the park, admittedly, but it was wasn't our worst performance of the season against because they're obviously newly relegated. They had
Ward-Prowse, didn't they?
Ward-Prowse,
They saw a teller as well, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, he scored, didn't he? Yeah, he scored that goal, didn't he?
But cut the crap, lads. Waffling. No chance. You're going to say 2 chances, that chance, and F all chance.
I just look in. They beat West Brom 2-1, beat Millwall 1-0 away, beat Birmingham
great results
3-1 at home. Yeah. Let's get some score predictions then. We'll leave Cossey till last. Ash, what's your score prediction for Huddersfield?
I'm gonna go for just a narrow 1-0 loss for Huddersfield, so 1-0 for Southampton.
Okay.
Obviously, they've not conceded quite a few, but I think I think it'll be 1-0. I don't think Huddersfield are having a great time, are they? At the minute.
I'm going to go with Danny. I think they might scrape something, I think they might.
Danny, what are you mean, dicking, man?
No, I'm going to go 1-0 Huddersfield as well. I think you might. It's one of them strange fixtures. 1-0 Huddersfield for me. Matt?
3-0 Southampton. If Darren Moore's going to sit in and allow Southampton to have ball, if they're on it, Southampton will just walk away with that game. So I'll be very concerned for Huddersfield on Saturday.
There you go, Tom.
Yeah, it's a 2-0 to Southampton. I think it's one of them games where it depends. If Huddersfield start well, then do all right. But I think Southampton's just got the quality, haven't they? That's the problem.
It is. Cossey?
Yeah, 0-2, mate. I don't think any surprises, but it'd be nice if we get the first goal. Then we could put everyone behind the ball. But hopefully we'll get into their penalty box more than 4 times in 98 minutes. That'll help, mate.
That'd be a good start, wouldn't it? Right, let's do Swansea versus Hull then. Hull, Rossignol, Jaden Philogene, all these decent players.
Yeah.
It's good at Hull right now, Tom.
Yeah, it's Tyler Morton as well. Scored. Well, he got an assist on his under-21s debut midweek. So
nice.
It's one of them where you should never fall in love with a lone player, but we're already falling in love with Delap and Morton. That's the problem. I think notoriously we struggle at Swansea, but they're not having the best of times at the minute. So I think we can go there and I think put in a good performance and.
You're better away from home as well, aren't you?
I think it's switched recently, to be fair.
Okay.
It's switched now, so now we're good at home for some reason. I think we're the last few, and then away from home, we've sort of, I think, lost against West Brom 3-1 last time out, I think, away. So I think it switched a little bit now. But I think against a side like Swansea, I think we can put them away, I reckon. But I've not really watched much of them this season, so I'm not too sure. But,
we've got them on Wednesday night, so you can report back to me, mate, after you've played them. But I'm just looking there. You, West Brom, and Sunderland all on 26 points. Do you feel, looking at the top 4, is it yourselves and Preston that'll be challenging for that last 2? Maybe Middlesbrough as well, because they keep rising. Is that sort of what you're looking at?
Yeah,
because I think for me the top 4 stays as it is. They'll just swap places. I think anyway.
Yeah. I do think it's that 5th and 6th spot that we're fighting for with like 5 or 6 teams. Obviously, there could be more, but usually you can go down to 12th place. When there's 5 to 10 games left of the season, you think, oh, they've got an outside chance, maybe 12th place, 5 points behind. But I think, if we're in and around 10th place, 10th and above, come 10 games of the season, like our last 6 games, and I'd be very happy with that. Just with an outside chance of playoffs, because since the promotion season from League One, we've not had anything to play for. For the last part of the season, it's been really dire. Like, it's one of them situations where you'd rather be playing for the relegation fight than just be stuck in 17th position, no chance of the playoffs, or So I think I do have confidence now, knowing that in January we could bring in some more players and sort of push more. I think staving off injuries is key, because I think getting someone like Seri injured or getting someone like the Lap injured could curtail our season. But that's like with any team, if you lose your key players. But I think with us, it's so imperative that we keep off with the injuries, because if we lose the Lap, we've not got really a backup striker other than Connolly, and he obviously started the season on fire, but it's not really torn on many trees recently. And and same with Philogene as well. Like, the individual brilliance he brings to the team, like if we lose him, he's irreplaceable. So as we saw against West Brom.
I know he's only just transferred to you, but if you don't get in the playoffs this season, are you worried about someone coming and having a look at Philogene? Because he looks pretty decent.
Yeah, I think 20 mil plus. I think we'll be holding out for, like, 20 mil, because Villa put a 15 mil release clause in the contract, but they can't activate it unless we're in the same division. So obviously teams will be looking at thinking they'll have to offer more for us to be tempted, knowing that Villa could just pay 15 mil. But it'll be interesting to see. We're obviously accepting the fate that one day in the future, if he carries on the trajectory that he's going at, then we're going to lose him. It's happened with Bowen, Grisicky, so many different players in the past. Like Maguire as well, Robertson. The list goes on, but it's like we've just got to enjoy him while we can, and hopefully get promoted with him. But it's one of them where I'd rather us stay in the Championship for a few seasons, consolidate before we go up, knowing if you look at the teams that have gone up last season, they're all in the bottom 3. So it's I prefer watching Championships.
This is the problem, isn't it, with Championship? Just like our season when we didn't go to the top floor with O'Brien, we lost the crown jewels. You know the rules. It's a bit depressing about modern football, isn't it? But it stands to reason, if you've got standout players in the Championship, they're going to go out there. Obviously,
O'Brien, the thing is, the grass isn't always green. Like Toffolo, and I think Toffolo's playing now, but O'Brien's not.
Yeah, O'Brien, no,
it's like
nothing. I don't know what's going on at Swansea. It's really weird, because they had a shocking start, and then Duff, they won 3 in a row. I thought, here we go, they're turning the corner. And then you just had a look, they've won like 1 in 5 as well. But it's they can't seem to get above mid-table. I think, I don't know, but it's a good probably time to go down there. But it's just, I think it's like anything. Obviously, you nicked a top player from them, Joe. So again, when you're losing the crown jewels and just having to bring up kind of players like rough diamonds and stuff, how many times can you do it? And someone like Jamie Patterson's there, he's been around the block, and they seem to be a club that have lost their way a little bit, don't they, since Premier League as well. Obviously, Martin last year, they did all right, but they didn't 90% possession, they ended up on 12 or something like that. It's don't seem to be much better under the ex-Barnes guy, but no. Good chance of winning. I think
we said it before. They didn't fit the style, does he? Like Damien, that Duff, not Damien Duff. I've forgotten his name. Michael, that's it. Damien Duff. Like we said before, like he's more direct, and Swansea used his possession-based style. So when you marry the two together, it's not going to work.
It would have strange to me that.
Yeah, definitely not. Let's get some score predictions in. Ash, Swansea versus Hull.
I'm going to go for a 2-1 Hull.
2-1 Hull.
Yeah.
I think 2-1 Hull. I will go 2-1 Hull. Yeah, Swansea are pretty poor right there. Matt?
Same, 2-1. Yeah.
Nice. Cossie?
Matt's good at predicting all wins, I've noticed that. But 1-1, I don't want to be predicting all, but no, I think it's going to be a draw, and it's going to probably help no one that. But
there you go. And we'll finish with Tom then.
I don't like predicting us to win, but I do have confidence as we go there and get a win. Like usually when I say that, we'll probably end up losing, but 2-0 to City. Hull City, that is.
Swansea, innit? Swansea City.
Could have stuck with that, Tom.
Exactly. Sound perfect. Right, Matt. Rotherham take on Leeds United Friday night, 8:00. still managerless. What's going on there, mate? Obviously, I know you mentioned a few weeks back about Taylor maybe, being in a bit of bother. You get spanked 5-0 by Watford, which ain't great because we played them and they're really poor. So that was a really shocker. Right decision, and also tell me what's going on with the manager search.
A right decision in the end. I think it's time. The writing was on the wall after the Wednesday game. A lot of fans turned after that. And to be fair to Chairman, he gave him a couple of games. He gave him a chance to sort it out. We picked up a point against QPR and Ipswich. We saw improvements, but they were quite marginal improvements. And then you go to Watford and lose 5-0. You can't really argue. He's been given a chance to turn it around. You go away to Watford. We say, no, not a great team. If we lose 5-0 to Leicester, although we're not happy about it, we can half accept it because Leicester are a great team, certainly at their place. It was just a shameful performance. The players looked lost. After the third goal, they just looked like they wanted the whole world just to swallow them up because they didn't want to be there. He couldn't turn it around. He had his chance, and he had a year. He had a year to sort this away form out, which is what's cost him his job in the away form, particularly. I can't argue with the decision. I think other clubs would have sacked him sooner. I think he has given him a chance to turn it around. I'm gutted because I don't like Matt Taylor. I think he'll do a good job somewhere. I just think he would try to change the club too quickly. I don't know what he's trying to change it to, but he was trying to change it from what Paul had too quickly. And it's not worked. It's just not worked for him at all. I was hoping that I thought, well, if you're going to sack somebody on going international break, that's a great time to do it because you can get direct 4 or 5 days, get somebody in, 1 week's worth of training, off you go. No, nothing.
What I don't understand, Wayne Carlisle is his second in command, right? So what's changed? Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. That's the thing. But he wants a job, Wayne Carlisle. Now he said in his press conference today that he'd be interested in taking the job full time. So he's not just there to. Maybe he's going to shake it up because he's seen what was wrong before, and maybe he thinks he can. I don't think he will stay. But he's throwing his hat in the ring. It is odd. It's really, really strange. I think the reason he stayed on is because when Paul Warne left last year, he gutted the club. He took all his coaching staff with him. And we had Richard Wood and Lee Peltier taking over a game, and it was a joke. It was really bad. So I think that's why
took charge of a game.
He did, yeah.
I love that. That is mad.
We lost 2-0 to Wigan, so that tells you all you need to know.
Steve Evans isn't going to come back. I still love that celebration when he won it playoff final, but he's going to talk his son up in it. But surely not Back to the Future, mate. Is it not the film coming on again?
No, not for me. A lot of fans want him. We were great for us what he did, but he took us over from League Two. Steve Evans is a certain type of manager. He needs to take over a club that's basically a wreck, and then he can build them up in his own image. We're not a wreck. We've got some really good players. We've got that's why I only Wednesday a few weeks ago. So please God, not Evans. Warnock basically ruled himself out. The front runners at the minute appear to be Liam Richardson, who was at Wigan, Gary Rowett apparently, somebody else as well. Can't remember. There's 4 people reported to be interviewed next week. Waiting for next week.
Nigel Pearson and a bit Nigel Pearson.
No, that's not Pearson's not me. I can't remember what the two are. Nathan Jones was linked, but I think he's out of our wage bracket, to be honest with you. But you never know.
What's the with Matt Taylor? Did he get a payoff? I heard it was 1.2 million.
Not heard anything, to be honest with you. It wouldn't surprise me. He had 2.5 years left, so there'll be a reasonable.
It's a lot of money. It's a well. I wish we had 1.2 million to spend on a striker or something. But well, if you have a contract with that long, then it will be. Won't it be something?
It'd be decent
like that. Matter, as long as you stay up by a point or even on goal difference, you're happy. Or do you want to see a bit more football and stuff? What do you need now? I mean,
that's where I go. I'm fed up. I'm fed up with just sitting back and not away from home. It's just proper getting every down. It's just.
Have you got the players for that, though? Have you got the guys for that or not?
Against somebody like Watford, Against somebody like Watford and against Cardiff and teams like that, we've got some good, decent players. They're all championship quality. They've all been there and done it a few times over. Against Leeds and Leicester and Southampton, I understand. We're not daft. I understand there's a different approach for certain games. But you can't go Watford and try and soak up pressure and concede loads of soft goals, and I think that's all right. It's the same against Wednesday. You can't set up like that and think that's okay. And that was the confusing thing about Matt Taylor. When it were good, it were amazing. With Norwich game, Leicester at home, we were so good. And then you turn up at Hillsborough and turn up at Vicarage Road, and that it didn't make any sense. And you can only blame him for that, really. So if we can get him up for one game, he should be able to get him up for the next game. So staying up is the goal. And if we start by a point, like I said, I'll take that every day a week. But I want to have a go. I want to
Jordan Hugo, like he's like a championship striker. I'd say like he should be able to score a few goals, but it's like get him in the service, and it's like I've just looked at your formation. Now you played a 5-3-2 against Watford. It's like what is that like? It's a genius, but, you know.
After they wake up, we could do something different. I'm going 5-3-2, so we lose 5-0. We did something different.
How are you expecting more of the same on like tomorrow night against Leeds, like with Wayne Carlisle? Are you going to be like how are you expecting him to go about it? Because if he does come out and have a go, being at home, then without sounding too, because I am a little bit worried about the game. I'm not going to lie to you. It's a game that I keep saying to people, I don't think it's going to be as easy as people think it is, because Rotherham, I think, are pretty decent at home. But if he did come out, I think it would be a little bit of suicide though against this Leeds side personally, because they just cut through you. Like, are you expecting any changes or?
To be honest with you, I'm not sure. I think it will change something, because if he thinks he wants to try and get a job, he's got to do something different. Yeah. Our problem is that, like I mentioned, Hugo is great and what he does is brilliant, but he's got no pace. So if you're trying to sit in and soak a bit of pressure, there's no real outball. You can't run channel or anything like that. So that's our issue. We just lack so much pace to sort of play the style of sitting in. We will have a go. We did against Ipswich, for half an hour against Ipswich. We were brilliant. We put them under loads of pressure.
Yeah, I watched that game. It was good.
And they really struggle. So at home, because it's a bit of a tighter pitch, like Matt Taylor mentioned, and the atmosphere can get on top of players. Nobody likes going to Rotherham. If you're willing onto them, people like they didn't know where Rotherham were before this season.
That's not just football, Matt. That's not just football. That goes to everything. No one likes going to Rotherham.
Yeah, they've got 2 Wetherspoons, haven't they? 2 Wetherspoons in the town there.
We've got one now.
Oh,
one. What's the general mood, mate? Are you confident for this game?
No, definitely not. No. We all know Leeds, Leicester, Southampton. We all knew at the start of the season these were going to be games that if you get anything on, they're almost a bonus. But we've had some great games against Leeds down the years. Friday night live on the Sky, I've had 2 or 3 of those, and we've come out on top of them. So I'm hoping it's that kind of thing. When it gets going in New York, it's brilliant, and the players react. The players under Matt Taylor have always reacted when the atmosphere gets up. But it needs the players to give the fans something to start with. I'm not going to write us off. I don't think we're going to win. I think we'll probably lose. But it'd be typical for Rotherham United to pick up a 1-0 win, a proper shit house 1-0 undeserved win. It'd be very much like us to do that.
I had a look, and I think we've won the last 4, but the last 4 head-to-heads at your place have all ended 2-1 either way. Whoever's won it, be it you or be it us, it's always been 2-1. So, I mean, that's where my head's at as well, because I think it is going to be quite tight from a Leeds United perspective. There's no Rutter. Apparently, he's a major doubt. He got abdominal issues on international duty. But Spence has trained 5 days. He's trained this week, so hopefully he might be back. So we've got Spence. I mean, we're almost at full health now, which is mad. Apart from Rutter, everyone else has trained. So yeah, I think the interesting thing, if Rutter doesn't make it, how he goes. If he goes Bamford and Pirro, or he maybe puts Somerville in the middle and then uses Jadon Anthony. But the thing is as well, the Wales lads played on the Tuesday, weren't back the Wednesday, so they haven't trained on Thursday. He said he's given them a down day. So there's a few players, Rodon, James Ampadu, Nonto, that won't have trained all week, because he said, I'm not going to train them, because if they train, I won't be able to play them on Friday, because he was fuming that we had to play Friday.
Will they still play there?
I think he will, because he said in his presser, if I train them full team training, I can't play them Friday, so they're going to have a rest day, like a recuperation day. So it depends what they've come back though, Tom. That was on Wednesday. They might come back with a few niggles. I think the bigger loss, like, we can lose Rutter, as mad as it sounds, and he can be replaced. It's at the back. If we lost Rodon, we're at Ship Creek. So if Rodon didn't make it, I'd be worried, because then it's like Cooper. Strauch's just had double hernia up and managed to get back. I don't know how he's done it, but he's an absolute machine. But I just think from a Leeds perspective, I'm excited to see Spence, man. We saw him for 20 minutes against Wednesday, and he was class for 20 minutes. It was like, wow, who is this guy? And then he got injured. But this, like,
he's so fun to watch. When I watched Spence for Forest like the other season, he was so fun to watch. Like just the way he drove down the right wing, like as a right back. That's what you want, like up and down.
His recovery speed as well. Like he lost the ball at one point, and then before you know it, it was back goal side. You know what I mean? It's like wow. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to.
What would happen with Archie Gray and?
This is the thing, bro. Yeah, because
obviously Archie Gray's been decent, hasn't he? Like from what I've seen,
been unreal. Like Archie he got promoted on the England camp, so he was under 19s or something, and then got promoted. But they let him come back early. To be fair to them, I think he played one game, and then they let him come back early because he's played a hell of a lot of football, which is fair enough. But he's a player, mate. But I think he needs
50 million price tag. I've seen
Liverpool apparently want him, don't they? So. We'll have to wait and see. We've already lost a youngster to City, Finlay Gorman. He's only 15. And they bought him for a 7-figure fee, which is mental.
Joe, are you worried about, obviously, how you went on against us? 0-0, where we sat back and you found it very hard, but you didn't break us down. And if Rotherham go in the same sort of mindset, with no manager, nothing really to lose, have they? Just if he just gets a point on the board. And you did struggle. You did struggle.
Yeah, no, we did.
It was a hard one for you. I'm just thinking in the same vein. If Rotherham do sit back and can defend at home, obviously as well, find it a bit difficult. Or do you think that against us, were it just first few games, weren't it? It was like and now you have got into your stride, and players obviously different players coming back.
No, there is still a concern there for sure. Like when I see now how Huddersfield lined up, I was concerned, but they just didn't do what Hughes folks did. I mean, they just parted like the Red Sea, their fullbacks and centre backs. It were mad. But yeah, I think I'm concerned about this game. I'm worried. Normally I do say if we were playing at Ellen Road, with all due respect, I'd be saying 3 or 4-0. But just going to the New York Stadium just worries me. I seen Ipswich there the other week. I've seen you get results against decent size, Southampton being one of them, and other results. I just think if you were to score first, for example, from a set piece, a throw, then that's going to be rock hard for us. And we could, it might be one of them times where...
Yeah, it's one of them games where, when the temporary manager comes in, gets a result, and then it gives you false hope. Because I remember when in the Premier League, when we started the season with 13 fit senior players and Mike Phelan had to come in as manager. He got 2 wins from the off when we had 13 fit players and was there for the next 12 games and didn't get a single win. And then we had to sack him and then bring in Marco Silva. It could be like one of them games where Rotherham get a result, gives them a bit of false hope. But,
let's get some score predictions then, because we are coming up to the hour. Cossie, Rotherham at home against Leeds United. Where's your head at, mate?
If this was just like a few weeks in and we're playing normal Saturday, Tuesday, but I just think this international thing, I didn't know whether it were mind games just to whip back, because obviously I read into that the Welsh guys weren't going to be fit. But how good were Ampadu, by the way, the other night? Jesus Christ,
brilliant,
unbelievable.
7 million we paid for him, by the way.
Oh, treble that.
Yeah. Only 7 million.
I think Millers are going to get a draw here. I think it's
wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, obviously it's sold out. Be a bit mad. It's going to be cool. I don't know. I just think he's got nothing to lose, caretaker manager. I don't think he'll be naive and open up. But I don't know. I think early on a few crunching tackles, and it's like people might believe. And yeah, I think they might get a draw. I think 1-1.
I mean, do you know what? We need to win, because if we win, we cut the gap to 5 points, and then Ipswich are away at West Brom Saturday night at 5:30, which is a tough game. So yeah,
Leicester have Watford, I think, don't they?
Yeah, Leicester should.
Expecting them to win.
Yeah. But I mean, they've lost 2 on the spin. The mad thing is,
Watford are brilliant.
The bad thing is with Leicester, right? Had we have lost that game, the gap would have been 17 points. 2 games later, it's now 8. It's mad how quick it changes. I'll tell you what's interesting, though, mate. Already, I've never done a season like it. Leicester, Leeds, Southampton, all they're talking about is top 2. Normally, you're like getting the playoffs. Let's see where we are in April, March. These guys are going to top. I don't know what Ipswich's mindset's like. Surely they believe, but I still think ride and we'll second playoff spot. Yeah. It's unbelievable. It's like you come out of the ground, it's like, well, Southampton have
It's like you've gained 6 points back on Leicester last 2 games, and people are just talking about that. That's normally talk done in March or April, not in November. But it's like you said, it just seems to be clear cut to me. 4 teams and the rest just making up the numbers this time, mate. Mad.
It is. Tom, score prediction?
I think it'll be a tough game for Leeds, but I think it's one of them where, like, you know, if you want your aspirations going, you've got to win it. And I think 1-0, they'll just edge it out, maybe like a late goal. But I won't be surprised either way, like if Rotherham edged it as well. So, but yeah, 1-0 Leeds.
Ash?
I'm going to go 2-0 Leeds, but I'm going to say it's going to be a hard-earned 2-0. I think Rotherham will sit back. I know they're at home and everything, but I just think you'll struggle to break them down. And there is a 6-0 incoming, isn't there? There, when I just said that. To Rotherham, 2-0 Leeds. 2-0 Leeds. Or should I just say 2-0 United? How's that?
Do it. Listen, I think it's going to be tight as well, and I probably could see Rotherham scoring first and putting the shits up us, but I do think we'll have too much, and I think 2-1. I'm going to go 2-1, but it wouldn't surprise me if it is 1-1 and it'd just be Leeds, you know, for us to lose 1-0. But I'm going to go 2-1 Leeds. Matt, you can give us the final score, mate.
I'll go same 2-1 Leeds. I think it'll play out similar to how we did against Leicester. I think it'll be a tight game, very close until the substitutes start coming on. I think that'll just take the game away from his last 15 minutes or so. It'll be a fairly late winner, I think.
Oh, nice. So 1-1 and then Leeds get a late winner, right?
Yeah.
I'll take that. I will take that. Right, well, folks, we will leave it there. We're just coming up to 7 o'clock as well. Thanks to everybody who's tuned in. Make sure you check out everyone's channels and podcasts. All their links are in the description. Over 300 people tonight, which is great because that means it's improving and people know Thursday 6 o'clock regular spot. Apart from Tom when he decides it's 6-7. But yeah, so make sure you tune in next week as well and show some love to all these folks. And I'll be back at 9 o'clock for our match preview live with Andrea, Jer, and Lloyd. Matt, have you got a preview you're doing at all that you want to plug if Leeds fans want to check that out?
Yeah, we're on 8, so we're on in an hour. New York talk. We'll preview. It'll be manager talk as well, obviously, but we'll preview what we think's going to happen on Saturday. A bit more detail from our side. There
you go, folks. You've got Matt and New York talk at 8, and then us at 9. So there you sorted. And check out all the other channels as well. And we'll leave it there. Thanks as always for watching, folks. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you.